romance readers, welcome to Illicit Liaisons with tender and tempting tales, where each week we discuss the good, the bad, and the naughty of romance fiction. I am Jenna Harte, a romance author of the Southern Heat Contemporary Romance series and the Sexy Valentine Mysteries, as well as managing editor of Tender and Tempting Tales, a steamy romance anthology for readers who like quickies.
Hi, I'm Tara Leederman, social media manager here at Tender and Tempting Tales, and lore maven and main fiction writer for Starship Valkyrie, a science fiction game and story universe. I write science fiction stories, including romance, and you can often find me in our anthologies and online. And today we also have Parrish Baker, who writes as Erna Semper with us. Hi, Parrish.
Hello, and
You ready to
I'm
do stuff?
I'm here.
You're here.
I am here a
Tell people
little
who you are.
unexpectedly. Well, why am I? I am a science fiction author, fantasy author, a romance author, receiving stories out from the depths of the universe by unknown technology from the distant future, from one Erna Semper. And I am here today because I just was so lucky. Here I am.
Receiving things hot off the Ansible.
Hot off the Ansible from the 32nd century, yes.
Yeah, yeah. We have sort of roped Parrish into this, but it's
Hello.
going to be fun. It's going to be fun because today we're doing a roundup of the news, the drama, and the hot takes from winter 2026, both here at Tender and Tempting Tales and the world of romance. There's been so much news in the bookish world this season, so much going on. A lot of it not great. Plagiarism, lying, stealing, fake giveaways, authors crashing out, and of course, spurious trademark claims. Here's a quick list. We had Crossover Gate. That was the person that trolled themselves, right? That's
Yes.
Yes, I think so.
yeah.
Bullied themselves.
Having an
Puppets.
overweight character or something. Yeah. We
Right.
had the heated rivalry cover scandal, which Chelsea Curtis
Yeah,
was
it's Chelsea Curtis.
attacked for having a cover similar to Heated Rivalry, even though Heated Rivalry's cover came out after Chelsea's. We have the Meg Weinstein craziness on X. That was just I can't even go into that anymore. The book con drama, because we talked about that one several times.
Hit
We
that
had the book
obscenity
con
button.
drama where a reader got upset feeling an author was rude, and there's some question about whether that was really the case. We have the Bookish app that dropped and then flopped. And then, of course, we've had a couple trademark dramas. The most recent one was the Hot Girls Read, in which she has actually gone ahead and surrendered her trademark. And then there was the Blind Date with a Book. Not sure what's up with that. But anyways, lots of craziness going on in the book world.
Yeah, I do want to talk about the trademark drama. To me, that's like this is one of the most important things going on in the bookish world right now because it keeps happening. I thought that you've seen the end of this with Cocky Gate with the Omegaverse stuff. I'm really frustrated with people in the bookish world, whether they're authors or people selling merch, trying to trademark things. This is not how trademark is supposed to work. Like this is not what you do. Like so the Hot Girls Read thing, particularly the thing that frustrated this me about this was if you look at the folks who were challenging it, they made a lot of good points. A USPTO should have never approved this in the first place. I couldn't believe that they even gave her the trademark in the first place because it was not integral to her brand. You know, her brand was not Hot Girls Read. It was her own, it was just one thing that she made merch of, and there were a lot of people before her who had been making this merch, so it's not like you would think of this person when you got something that said Hot Girls Read. You wouldn't immediately be like, oh yeah, that's this person. You would just see it and it would just be like a generic bookish thing that you would get at an event, right? So it would be like it would be like someone trademarking panini, you know, or a grilled cheese sandwich, It's like
Or Blind Date with a Book.
or blind
Or a
date with a
blind date
book.
with
Yeah,
a
like this is
book.
the
Yeah.
kind of product. It is not a thing that is like synonymous with any particular brand, You can trademark the name of your brand. Like we trademarked Starship Valkyrie, you know, but we didn't trademark a bunch of things within it, like a bunch of slogans and things like that, because they're not necessarily synonymous with Starship Valkyrie, and it would be a little trolly for us to go around trademarking every single thing that we had any merch associated with, like as long as our thing says Starship Valkyrie, it's fine. Um, or like it would be like McDonald's had trademarked, I think, I'm loving it because that's kind of synonymous with their brand. It's something they say, da, 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 I'm loving it. That is synonymous with McDonald's. I think a smart thing for her to do would have been to create like a logo word mark. So like a particular design of Hot Girls Read that was more synonymous with her, because you can trademark a design, like a particular logo. And I think that would have been I think that would have been quite valid for her to do. It'd be like, okay, this is my Hot Girls Read. This is the thing I sell, but other people can still do Hot Girls Read. And the way she was talking about it was like she thought she had done that, right? But she didn't. She did the full word mark. So that nobody else could use it on any of those products, which is that's not what you do. That's not how you do this. So I'm glad that she surrendered it. The challenge made a lot of really good points. And the thing I want to tell people is that right now they're in the pending period for Blind Date with a Book. So if you are a bookish creator, someone who creates Blind Date with a Book and you sell those, you have standing when the public comment period goes up to challenge it. The USPTO has to do a month of comment period. If you have standing, if you sell this product, please go challenge it before this gets approved by the USPTO. I don't know if they're asleep at the wheel or what's going on, but they did approve Hot Girls Read. So I don't know. Like this, she obviously didn't have prior standing. She obviously didn't have prior use. It should have never been approved, but they did approve it. So they might approve Blind Date with a Book. So I do think that if you do have standing, you should go challenge it and like be on top of that. It's still pending right now. It hasn't been approved. Hopefully it's not, but please challenge it. That's where we're at with the trademark
I don't
thing.
know how the trademark office works in terms of, do they have people that go out and look, or do they just trust what the attorney or the applicant has sent in? Because
they're supposed to investigate.
She sent in a bunch of stuff that they apparently took as that's what it was when it wasn't. That okay, she started using this in 2022 or whatever it was, 2020. I can't remember the date. And the idea that she was the first one to do it or use it or whatever, where it would have been easy to see that that was not the case, that somebody else had been using it before. So I don't know whose shoulders it falls on to verify anything that's submitted. I don't know how it works, but yeah, you would think that somebody somewhere would have said, wait a minute.
My IP lawyer told me that the USPTO is supposed to investigate these things. So just because you've made a claim doesn't mean that it's true. They're supposed to look at your claim and check things on the internet. Like we had to like make sure that we were in the stream of commerce. All of our stuff was thoroughly checkable so that the USPTO could check to see if we had done those things. Like if they were just believing our lawyers, we could have said any old thing, right?
Yeah.
I was assuming that they were doing their duty and checking things. And that
if they were just checking
what my lawyer said that what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, but if they were just checking her, they could verify she used this in 2021 or whatever. Are
she
they
has lied.
out
She
and
had
checking
lied.
that anybody else was
not.
using it? Yeah.
Here's the thing is she wasn't using it in 2021. She perjured herself. Oops. She had started selling in 2023 and said she had started using it in 2021 and that she had invented it. Any cursory check would show that she perjured herself.
Yeah. Oops. Well, she did do a video, and when you upset a community as much as that did, I don't know how you come back from it. But as mea culpas go, I thought she did okay because she didn't come on boo-hooing about being attacked by the bookish community, and she led with, "I'm surrendering the mark."
Yes,
like she didn't. She led with the most important thing, "I'm surrendering the mark." And then she went on to explain what her thought behind it as a business thing. Okay, she's running a business. That makes sense. There's a lot of people who really don't buy that, right? But that would be the reason to do it. I own it, and I take my competition down. That is business thinking. That's also what made her get in trouble, because she also at one point in a video said that she really wasn't, she just wanted to own it as a business thing and she wasn't going to go after people. But in fact, she did with kindness and love. Something like that, right? With love. If you're using this, you need to take it down, right?
She seems to think that people won't find that threatening. The moment you start talking about intellectual property, it's a threat.
It doesn't matter how sweetly you say it and how kindly you say it. What she was saying is that I own this, you can't use it anymore. And there's nothing she can say that says that that's not what she said. It's very clear. We saw it in the post. So so she did the good thing and she did it quickly. I don't know that the other place it's trying to do Blind Date with a Book. I don't, there are book ordering.
Ivory Chapters. Ivory Chapters.
Yeah. So At least she did that, but her business is probably
in the tubes.
In the tubes. Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll have to
It's hard to
rebrand
come
it
back
something
from.
else.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You just can't
Yeah.
alienate people like that on a broad scale and assume they're going to want to work with you later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or buy from you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she seemed to think that it wasn't threatening, and that all she had to do was just say, well, I own the trademark, so you can't use it now. That's not how that works, honey. You've got to send cease and desist letters, you've got to spend money, and then you got to take people to cleaners over it. That's why it sounds like a threat. The moment you start throwing IP claims around, you are threatening people. Do not ever think that you are doing it with kindness and love. It is not kindness and love. This
but
shit
you
is
also
expensive.
have to remember the people who are making these things are just people sitting at home with a side hustle, and when you see that, it could be frightening.
It's chilling. It's absolutely
chilling to get a cease and desist letter. So having an announcement, I own it now, it's like, oh shit, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm going to take my stuff down, right?
That's the question, is how many people lost money over this? How many people threw away merchandise over this? How many people stopped selling a thing that was selling well for a month over this? Like, how many people stopped taking certain merchandise to conventions over this? There were a lot of events during this time period. How many of them lost money because of this? And she talks about the harm that she did. I don't think she understands how much harm she could have done over this.
Yeah.
In an unrelated kind of world, back in the mid-teens and earlier, there's a big move in the Department of, I believe, in Department of Commerce to like regulate exact contents of every kind of chemical or whatnot that you had in fabric and all these things. And they said, well, here's the easy thing. All these people just have to do is just like provide a sheet saying what's in this fabric and what's in this wood and what's in this screw, and it's no problem. And I know from personal experience with somebody that I knew quite well at the time who was working at home and making things, that she would have had to produce a stack of documentation against very small amounts of money. It was ruinous. It was, I doubt it was intended to be that way, but whoever came up with a set of rules had no clue. So the same thing is applying here. You are intruding upon the life of someone who is doing something that is making them a small amount of money and taking a great amount of time. And you're saying, oh, by the way, sweetie, I'm going to absolutely destroy everything you do out of kindness and love. And I'm going to go on with my life, and I'm not going to make a whole lot myself, but I have ruined you. And how would you like to be my friend forevermore? Well, the common thread amongst all these things. Yes, with my stickers. The common thread among all these things, I think people have a little bit of knowledge and absolutely no understanding. They don't understand the laws. They don't understand practices and standards. They don't understand how to relate with other human beings. And so they are attacking the dog at the wrong end here, and they are demonstrating a shocking amount of ignorance, I think, in all of these different scandals. It's just this weird inability to relate to other people and to reality itself.
Exactly. I completely agree.
People were so mad that they made a Kickstarter to raise money to trademark her business name because she hadn't done that.
she hadn't
protected her business name.
Now, I think she should have trademarked.
Right there.
Petty. But I do know that person has since stopped that.
Well, that person actually used the money instead to file the challenge, which was really well done.
Yeah. And the extra money, I think, was donated
to the Trevor Project. Yes, which I very much approved of.
Yeah. And I do believe Ali Co donated something from the money from the stickers, from some sales. They were donating something to Bookish things as sort of their penance. But they were pedaling fast to get back on the right track. And the question is it too much, too late? Type of thing.
Bookish community functions on goodwill, right? And at the moment you start trademarking stuff and smacking people around like this and just walking in like you own the place, people get mad at you and they're gonna remember.
Yeah.
And it was so funny. I think any like lawyer worth their salt would have told her not to do this. That I went and I looked at the filing at the USPTO, and you can see the email for the lawyer, and the lawyer's email is that lawyer guy.
Oh.
Really professional.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Using LegalZoom or something.
Yeah, exactly. That lawyer guy.
Yeah.
That explains everything. She had no advice whatsoever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the moment someone tells me they have a trademark, I immediately go look it up in the USPTO
lawyer, right? The one you can afford, because it's an expensive lesson that she's learned. So
No doubt.
unfortunately for her. Shall we move on to some hot takes?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of them lately, and I have found that I'm really enjoying the hot take booktube videos. And generally, there's a booktuber, like a lot of them I've never heard of, but of course, it will pop. If I'm looking for hot takes, they pop up. And I write them down for us to discuss.
I appreciate it.
And this particular one, unfortunately, I cannot remember where I got it. And I'm sorry to say, but generally what happens is these booktubers will put out a call. Tell me your hot takes. And their listeners, followers will submit hot takes and they respond to them, whether they agree or disagree. And one of the hot takes that came through in one of the videos was that contemporary romance can never be 5 stars.
Wow.
What are your thoughts on that?
So it must be 4 stars or below
I guess.
is the position.
Well, maybe 4.5, 4.75. I don't know.
We both write perspective fiction, and I mean, obviously, that's what we like, right? So, I mean, if someone said, I like perspective fiction, so for me, contemporary fiction could never be 5 stars, I get that. But as a general thing, I feel like something can be 5 stars as long as it is being good at being the thing that it set out to be, right? So I always, because we're editors also, like we receive contemporary romance all the time. I receive contemporary romances and I say, is this a really good like version of contemporary romance? And a lot of the cases we've received ones where I've been like, yeah, like your story in Moonlight and Margaritas, Jenna, 5 star contemporary romance.
Yay.
Susie's stories often five-star contemporary romance. Like to me, it's really good at being the thing it set out to be. I don't really rate things based on my preferences when I'm being an editor because that doesn't make any sense. And I wouldn't rate them on Goodreads that way. If I set out to read a contemporary romance, I need to judge it on its own standards, not on is it sci-fi romance, because obviously it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. What are your thoughts, Parrish?
Yeah, it kind of treads dangerously on another recent scandal. Someone was slagging entire genre just because they didn't like it. I mean, it's you. If I am reading contemporary romance, then I'm going to like contemporary romance, and I'm going to have 5 star candidates for that list. I mean, there's no way to approach it as someone who is a connoisseur of whatever and say, well, someone has defined my particular liking as 4 star worthy or below. Therefore, I will not give it more than 4 stars because I am intellectually honest and I approve this alleged expert's position. Well, that's that no human being should accept that. It's no. If I like contemporary romance and I'm going to have a 5 star author, I know I am. And I'm going to have a 1 star author also. And if you gave me a sci-fi romance, say, hey, read this, I'm going to hit that thing with a 3 star fast than you can imagine because that's not my bag. So it is a nonsensical statement. It means nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caitlin Conrad did a really good video on bookish influencers and asking, do these people actually like books? And sometimes I wonder that about some people who read a lot of romance online. I worry that maybe they read so much of it that they start to get really spicy and angry.
Well, and I don't know who made the comment, right? I mean, maybe they only read historical romance. Maybe they don't read any romance, right? So but that's what the issue is here, is that rating is not set. It's not a standard by which we all adhere to. The rating is whatever I say it is for me, right?
Yes.
So this person, that's their rating for them. So I guess in the general sense, the question then becomes, are there very good contemporary romances? And then the question is, what makes a very good contemporary romance? So if, like Tara says, if it sets out and meets the expectations and it is executed well, then why not? I can think of, and I can never remember the title, but Kennedy Ryan, I think, is a very good writer, very good execution of the books. And the writing along with the execution and the things that are going on, I think, are very good. Does that mean a rom-com, a Lucy Score or something like that can't be a 5? it just depends. If I get a good giggle out of it, and it's got a good, like, I like her Riley Thorne books, and then maybe, right?
Yeah.
I yeah, it's sort of a weird statement to make, and definitely personal. Like,
Yeah.
but would be a hot take, right? For me, I could never read a contemporary romance that was 5 stars. That is a hot take.
Yeah. I feel like contemporary romance can get away with phoning it in because like it doesn't have to create a world. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe I certainly know that I like a lot more perspective fiction, and I often feel like that I feel like perspective fiction writers are sometimes held to a higher standard, but then I read romantasy and it doesn't seem to be the case at all, right? Like it reads contemporary to me, and sometimes it feels like some writers are phoning it in. I think you have people phoning it in all over the place. Like there are people phoning it in every single subgenre of romance, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yes, there are people in contemporary romance phoning it in. Shocking. There's people producing a lot of material every year in order to stay current and to pay their bills. So sometimes they're phoning it in.
Yeah.
Shocking.
And then I guess the question would also be, why is it not fun? Is it just because it's a romance? Is there something about romances in particular they don't like?
Right.
I mean, is it an element of the romance that all of them are bad, just contemporary? I don't know. It's an interesting thing because, like Parrish said, if I read something that isn't in my wheelhouse, I might rank it a little bit lower. There's a book out there, it came out a long time ago. It's called The Night Circus. And it got a lot of buzz. I think the person that wrote it during NaNoWriMo, Erin Morgenstern, something like that, wrote it during NaNoWriMo, and it got a lot of buzz at the time. It was really big. And I remember reading it and I was like, I am missing something here. And it's not that I didn't like it, but it wasn't a 5-star read for me. What was done well was done very well, which was the explanation of the circus, the description of the circus and all that. The characters, on the other hand, particularly our 2 little main ones. And it was sort of a shock to me that the author could so well describe this circus and yet couldn't do it with the characters very well. I just didn't like them. They didn't have the depth and everything that the circus had. So I didn't see it. For me, not a 5-star read, but I was the outlier, right? like people loved this book. And it's not that I didn't like it, but I was just like, I don't like these characters very much. So again, rating is all whatever I say it is for me and whatever it is for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think that things get a lot of buzz. People end up reading them a lot in order to stay current, right? When they're talking about stuff on like BookTube or something like that, or Book Talk, right? Yeah. And I think that they want to get views. So I don't always know that I think that they would have read that if it didn't have a lot of buzz. I don't know if they would have liked it if it didn't have a lot of buzz and a lot of people are already liking it. So to me, that all feels highly suspect, right? Also, NaNoWriMo authors. I used to be like my writing group used to be a NaNoWriMo group, and I one thing I know about NaNoWriMo authors is that all of us are really uneven skill wise. If you're a NaNoWriMo author, you're learning how to produce a book, and you might be really good at description and really bad at character development. That seems super normal to me.
And Night Circus is pre BookTube, pre all this that we have now. It was a book that got a lot of buzz, but it wasn't what we're seeing now in terms of everybody. I don't know how I heard about it, but I can't even remember the year it came out. We'd have to look it up, but it was
2011.
Had gotten
2011. Oh, that's way before
2011.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. But I
almost
just remember
for YouTube.
It had all this talk about it, and the reviews on Amazon at the time, I haven't looked since, were really good. And I just remember thinking, I didn't see it. So.
I mean, you've been an agent and you've also been a ghostwriter, and so you have a much finer understanding of craft than a lot of people do.
Well, but this goes to readers as well, right? Like they loved it. They didn't. So maybe if I were looking at it, of course, in 2011, I was just a lowly old writer, too, reader. Like I didn't know what I know now. I didn't know them, and maybe that overshadowed the circus bits, overshadowed everything else for other readers. But for me, I was wanting to read a romance, and I just was like, I don't, not these people. So
I mean,
One thing I know
can.
from Harry Potter fandom is that people like really crappy characters. People love Severus Snape.
yeah,
Crappy
Yeah,
character.
yeah, but he was
Go ahead,
complex too, right? So
Sure.
yeah.
I think people
I'm
imagine
not.
a lot of complexity.
yeah, I
I've never
imagine
read the
Alan
book.
Rickman.
Yeah,
So
It's
probably.
Alan
Yeah.
Rickman, yeah.
I've never read the books. I don't have any feeling for it, but I've heard of it. I've seen the cover and everything. I can understand probably what kind of book it is. It is very much a world book, I'll bet you. And she's
yeah,
got this thing that she's made, and people really groove on that kind of thing. There are people who really do like a well constructed concept and world, and they're willing to forgive a little bit of wiggle room on the characters just to get the world. So I can people who would like it, I can totally understand why they would totally like it. I get it.
yeah. I mean, it was unique for the time, right?
Mhm.
I think was part of it. It was it was so different. Looking at it now, it has 53,000 reviews with an
Good
average of
God.
4.4. So
Solid book.
yeah,
Solid. Yeah.
It's a good book. There's no disputing it.
yeah, and I didn't give it a 5. And it has 60% or 5-star, 25% 4-star, 11% 3-star. I probably gave it a 3. I might have given it a 4. I don't know.
You heard it here, folks. Circus romance can never be a 5-star, according to Jenna Harte.
I
There
did
you
not
go.
say
Hot
that.
take. Hot take.
Do not come after me with the night circus. I didn't hate it. I just didn't see what everybody else was seeing because the characters just didn't. I just didn't feel them. Well,
This is going to
which
drag
goes,
you down.
another hot take we chose not to do today, but we can do another time, which has to do with chemistry. The lack of chemistry sometimes in romance, and I just wasn't feeling it. But that's me. That's me.
That's
You
fair.
love it. Awesome. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
Maybe we should move on before I get in trouble.
My hot take is gonna probably get me in trouble.
Okay.
This is what, I am like a captive audience on Instagram as our social media manager, so I see a lot of like people having hot takes about AI and stuff like that. One thing that I see a lot is folks assuming that because an author used AI on like one thing, like they made a marketing graphic with it, then they can't be trusted to not use it in other areas, such as to like change their text when they're editing or like write their prose for them. And I don't know, like to me, this shows a really like a lack of understanding of what being an indie author entails and like what even like using Canva entails and all of that stuff. And I get really frustrated by this take. I feel like people are just sort of like, well, you've got some AI on you. You are verboten. I have sorted you into the bad box. And for Tender and Tempting Tales, I am very careful to never use AI in any of our stuff. Like I make our covers so that we know that AI has not been used. Like I do our layout. Like we make sure that we do our editing by hand and do all of our copy editing by hand. We don't use Grammarly for it. Like I make all of our marketing graphics by hand. Like everything is made that way so that we can say like, yeah, we don't use AI. But I don't blame an indie author for making a little quick marketing graphic with AI because they want to get back to writing. It's like this is a hard thing to do. And a lot of people, I had 7 years of art training. That's a happenstance that I have that, right? Like, and that's useful. But most writers don't have that. Like like a lot of older writers struggle with Canva, and I don't blame them for that. I just think it's ridiculous to be sort of like, you didn't pay a social media manager to make you graphics, and you didn't pay somebody to like make you this like a gorgeous cover. Like you used some like asset in Canva that might have been made by AI. You are therefore evil, and I'm putting you in a box. And I just think that's really unfair to people. Like I don't think folks realize just how expensive it can be to be an indie author if you're not using any of these tools that you might not even understand might have had AI associated with it. It's snuck into everything. And like it's hard to tell if an asset was made by AI in Canva because sometimes they go into the general pool. And I don't know, I just feel bad for indie authors who get this thrown at their heads. I've had our authors ask me like, "Oh, can I use AI to animate this graphic?" And I have had to be like, "Don't do that. I don't want it associated with us." Not because I think it's evil and bad. I think that it's cute that they're playing around with the graphic and making the fireworks go off. I just don't want people to come after them with pitchforks. And I shouldn't worry about that. It's like, this is just some author playing with
they
its
could use
tool.
a GIF, right?
Right.
Yeah.
it's just someone who's excited about it, like a tool. Leave people alone. I don't know. I understand that there are a lot of environmental concerns with AI. I share them. Like I would love to see AI regulated in order to prevent it from, like consuming all water resources on the planet and stuff like that. I agree with that. I would like to see it regulated to make sure that like people can still make a living use like with their art, and so that people are not, it's not subsidized to the point where folks can just like throw slop on the internet and make it unusable. I agree with all of that. Going after indie authors is not going to solve the problem. Going after indie authors over a marketing graphic is not going to solve the problem at all. It's just a way for someone to feel powerful. Like, talk to your legislators, for the love of God. Don't go after indie authors.
Speaking of legislators, we went on a tour of my Capitol building in my state, and there is a room that has portraits of all our governors, and we were looking at one of them, and my daughter says that looks like AI. And it was a painting, right? And I was like, I thought about that one down there too, because his hand's a little wonky. But of course, none of them were, right? These were hand painted portraits
from 60 years ago.
One, which is sort of speaks to people accuse things of AI that may not be AI, and that's problematic. But here's my other take. First of all, authors are going to have a very difficult time staying away from tools that have AI in them, even if they don't use them.
Yeah.
Pro writing aid, everybody's been using that to edit, or Grammarly for years. There are AI features in it.
Yeah. Same with Canva, right? Canva has AI features.
And here's the other thing. Some of these things we have already been using, like take out the background. I just want the thing, right?
Oh yes, yeah. I use background remover all the time.
It's been around for years now, right? And it wasn't called AI at the time. It was just remove the background for me. That new separate the layers feature.
Oh, magic layers. Yeah, that's AI.
Oh my God, that's been a game changer for me. Yeah, because I might have an image on deposit photo. I want to change that. Anyway, the other part is we are in a visual and video world now. And you're right. For the time and money it takes for authors to make and do these things is exorbitant. Also, that they might be able to sell a few books. And this idea that independent authors, all of them are making six figures, is ridiculous. Most of them are lucky if they make $100 a month.
Yeah.
And they've already spent $100 a year on Canva Pro. They can spend between $30 and $200 on a cover. They've spent $400 to $1,500 on editing. If they want to do audio, they're looking at $5,000. I mean, there's just the expense is more than I think many readers realize. Here's the other hot take when people are saying books are too expensive. Okay, but authors don't get paid diddly poop most of the time, right?
We don't have any control over that anymore. Yeah.
Even from the
that's a hard one to balance, Independent authors get to keep more, but their overhead is tremendous to do all the things that particularly the bookish people like to see, TikTok videos or whatever. So it becomes very difficult to not incorporate some use of AI as a tool that makes things more affordable or makes them quicker to go by quicker.
Yeah.
And any sort of automation, even if it's not AI, they might lump that in there too, right? So it's a very difficult thing. I feel bad.
Yeah, like all of these things are very fiddly. Making all of our marketing graphics is very fiddly, and doing our layout to try to save people money is very fiddly. I did the layout for Fireworks and Flirtation. And as you know, I was very attentive to making sure that we weren't wasting paper when doing different headings and stuff like that from when people had chapters in their short stories, making sure that that wasn't going to a new page to make sure that to keep the book price down so it wouldn't go to more pages, like that was thing I was very attentive to, trying to save money for the consumer. Like we're out here looking out for you guys, and I just think people can be a little bit entitled about this stuff. I understand you are paying your hard-earned money to buy books, and I love that. I'm loving that about readers right now, but like, go to your legislators if you don't like AI. I know I am. I'm going to my legislator and talking about those things. I'm not attacking other creators. Everyone is just trying to make it out here in a very, very crowded and noisy atmosphere, and dealing with the fact that Instagram is constantly changing. Like it's preferencing reels. Reels are very time consuming to make. Very, very, very time consuming to make. Let alone reels that catch people's attention. You know, and not everybody is extremely photogenic and can be in skits, right? Like there are some authors out there who are extremely photogenic. That's not all of them. However, they cannot all do skits in their houses, wearing cute little tiaras and looking adorable. Like that's not everybody.
Yeah. I like watching Susie's reels. And
Yeah, Susie's are great. Marissa's are great. I could probably do skits in my house, but my house is covered in toddler toys, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I could not do a reel with myself. That would not work. It's extremely. I mean, I have so many hot takes that I could make on this, but nobody wants me to do that because I'd be very destructive. But kind of the thing is to me is a lot of people stake out these what they feel are very moralistic and very correct positions, and because they're extremely low cost for them to take these positions. I can say I'm against thing A all I like, and I can get people destroyed and ruined and spindled and mutilated, and I can go home feeling like a wonderful person because, of course, naturally I am. But what they're functioning as, particularly in this case, is a kind of gatekeeper. I mean, sometimes I see covers on Amazon that are obviously quite literally handmade, hand drawn, or made with like the very most, primitive early aughts, software and assets and things. And I find it charming that they have done this, but I also know how much money they're making. And it is to do anything, even at that scale, is, as you say, so terribly time consuming. I spent 3 hours this morning on several Instagram reels. Okay. And if I make a nickel off that, I will be pleasantly surprised. I didn't go into it expecting that to happen. But for people to not understand what it takes to do anything, even the most terrible and simplistic thing, and believe that I can just shill out for some person who is just going to turn around and use AI herself, has happened to me once. And I can say, well, I didn't use AI. God knows what my cover person did. I mean, it was nice work. I didn't use it, but it was like, it was kind of an eye opener. I said, oh my God, no one's actually doing this, are they? So you have to understand, you really, really have to understand what we as creatives are up against. I understand what creatives are up against who are losing work. And you can run to the trads and complain about that because they're the ones with the cash. I am not. I cannot afford to do anything. I have to do what I can as best as I can, as moral as I can. And that's my terrible hot take, which is probably way over my skis now. So I'll stop.
It's an excellent hot take. Yeah, you want to get mad at Simon and Schuster? Go get mad at Simon and Schuster people for
exactly.
God, please do.
It was Hachette. Wasn't Hachette did the?
Hachette. Yeah,
I
not
think it was
reading
Hachette,
something that they were going to publish.
Yeah, it was already published in the UK, and they were getting ready to release. What I want to make sure that we're clear on here is what we're talking about here isn't, using generative AI to write the books and do all this stuff. What we're talking about is the tools that authors need to use to help them compile the books or market the books that now, even before when we were using them before, now they do have AI associated with them. And even if the author, like if it's somebody said, oh, you use Pro Writing Aid, you used AI. Well, we've been using Pro Writing Aid for years and it didn't have AI in it, right? And we're still using that tool. And yet, I write in Word and all of a sudden there's a Copilot doodad in the corner. I'm not using it, right? But, so it's and Jane Friedman actually had this in her email, I want to say a week ago, where somebody else had responded saying authors can't even get away from it. So it's in the tools they're using, whether they use that feature or not. Like Canva obviously has that. And we've been using Canva for years to make our, videos or our assets to market.
Inescapable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't use Magic to create graphics, but a bunch of the graphics that are there available, probably you were a Magic at some point. It's hard to know which one is drawn and not. Like, it's not like they say which one is drawn and which one is created by Magic. I don't know.
Yeah. So I think it's really, I was using something the other day where it's like, we can do an AI thing over this. I was like, no, that's okay. This is the way I entered it. This is the way I want to use it, If I'm editing my document and it says you spelled this word wrong. If I click it and say write it the correct, if like I don't rewrite it, I click the thing and say, well, fix it. Am I using AI and am I in trouble? Those are the things, because there's nuance here. And I think a lot of people aren't recognizing that these AI features are tools. Many of them we've used before that didn't have AI, but now AI, is a tool that some authors may choose to use because, again, just like automation or anything else, it saves us money. This is an expensive thing. And if you want to keep book costs down,
Yeah.
If you want any books at all that are
Yeah.
not made by the 5 or 4 or 3 trad publishers that there are, you can't push everybody out and say, well, you have to spend $1,000 a year to make $100 a year, and that is for our benefit, so we can sit around feeling good about yourselves. That's not how the world is going to work at all.
You could easily spend $2,500 to $5,000 to produce one book.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And now you have to get it. You have to get it to readers, and particularly romance. It's a very competitive thing. How do you do that? I mean,
it's noisy out there. It's really hard to even get people's attention to find readers.
Yeah. So
to say nothing, in fact, that Instagram keeps changing its algorithm.
Yeah.
Right. They snuck reels in, and now they're preferencing everything as reels. It's really frustrating.
Yeah.
Single frame stuff.
TikTok now is preferencing their stories. I'm like, what's the difference between a TikTok and a story?
Oh my God.
Why do we have stories now?
Because of Instagram and Facebook.
Exactly. And of course, Instagram has reels because of TikTok.
Yeah.
And they have stories because of Snapchat, right? So
the thing I really don't like is all of these, the preference for reels and skits, right, is forcing authors to sell themselves and a parasocial relationship with themselves in order to sell books instead of their books.
That's right. Bad mojo.
It's and it's like that preference is a certain, like a person of a certain age, a person of a certain gender, and a person of a certain attractiveness, and people without toddler toys around their house, I have to say.
Yeah.
People with good lighting, which I don't have.
Being like, I could do this, but where would I put the toddler toys?
Yeah, I always feel like if I showed my face, they'd be like, oh, that's an old lady writer. She probably doesn't write what I want to, I'm a millennial or Z writer, and I want to read all this stuff. Even though I feel like what I write definitely fits into the stuff that they want to read.
Oh, yeah.
I'm afraid they'll look at me like, oh, that's an old lady.
Guess what, readers? A lot of the things that you read and like are probably written by middle-aged or older women.
Yeah,
just let you know.
Mm-hmm.
Middle-aged women built
or
the
dead
romance
ones.
genre.
Yeah. Gen X romance writers walked so that the Gen Z TikTok writers could run.
Just there's so many young writers.
Trademark that.
We have in our books. I love watching them on TikTok, and I'm like, I would look silly, this old lady doing what they're doing. Not all of it. Some of it.
Nothing is a bigger warning there than something like Milo Winter, right? You got people who are selling themselves, their personalities, who are really good at marketing, who can't write.
Paris, do you have a hot take on something?
Oh, golly, does spice ruin a good plot? How about that? A question for a hot take. Oh, my gosh.
It's right up there with it can't be 5 stars.
That certainly is. That one crossed my radar extremely recently. Again, if you're looking for a lot of absolutes in my universe, I don't have many to hand out. And that is a thing that can happen, but it's not a thing that necessarily can happen. It's a scale sort of thing. On top of scale is expectation. If we have ourselves an anthology, apropos of absolutely nothing, full of 10 to 13 great stories each, which you definitely should head over to Amazon and buy, you're going to have up to 10,000 words or a little more to accomplish an entire function that probably should take 40 to 50,000 words if you're really working to scale. And in the 40 to 50,000 word book, you are not going to have 5 to 10% of those probably are going to be spicy. But you have to have rather more of that to fit it, to actually get the scene out in a short story. And we had a discussion of this recently, because I was like saying, well, you should have so many words. And somebody says, well, I don't know if I just want to classify by words. And then I said, well, it's really more, you've got to have a certain amount to get the kind of scale out. Sometimes I don't feel like I have enough, and sometimes I feel like I have too much. And sometimes I pick up something that somebody's written. I say, this is like every other page, and this is an actual large book. what's going on here? This is what's that word again? Smut. So it's really, what are you trying to accomplish? Is, it's I don't think that you can say that it will. I'd say it can if you're not using the spicy scenes for the purpose that they are intended. If you're just using them to, shall we say, gratify the reader and or yourself, and you're not actually doing it to further the story, that's a problem. But that's a story problem. That's a writing problem. You have to actually achieve the function of the story. And if it is by smutty scenes, then it's by smutty scenes. If it's by long stretches of dialogue, it's by that. It's by action, by action. What's your purpose? What's your point? What's your pleasure? So there you go. That's my hot take.
Yeah, I
What
agree.
do you think,
And
Jenna?
that was an interesting discussion that had come up over the story, where I was like, it fits three for me, in terms of what we require for three chili peppers. But then finally in the discussion, understanding what you were looking for, that made sense as well. So it's more than just they need to meet a three, but the story there needs to be some depth to meaning, and in terms of what's going on. And I agree, every scene needs a purpose, and it's either driving plot or revealing characters, usually what we're looking for. So whether it's a fight scene, whether it's a spicy bit, whatever it is, it needs to have something going on besides simple titillation. Now, there's a lot of readers out there that are happy just to have scenes thrown in just for titillation. I'm a ghostwriter. I have to write a lot of these scenes, and
Mhm.
sometimes I'm like,
Here
here we
we go
go
again.
again. I feel like this could be, I mean, sometimes it could be, yes, they're going to do this thing, but it doesn't feel like I have to show it. It feels like I could just shut the door here and we can move on. But in what my client wants, I end up writing that scene. So I understand that there's readers that are just happy to have that, and that's great. But I do really feel kind of what Parrish is saying is that these scenes need to serve a purpose. But let me also say this: when I was writing this new book, one of the issues of this book is this paranormal world where there's a ritual bonding, and that bonding is sealed when it's consummated, right? So that they have sex and it's consummated. And in this book, he does not want to do that. He does not want to seal the deal, so to speak.
Feel the
Seal
But I
the
also
deal.
having been reading
but
it, that's extremely funny.
but they are highly attracted to each other,
Mhm.
right? So, and I am not a slow burn person. It's like I don't want to wait till the end of the book to have this. So so but there is a scene that has a spicy element to it. It is highly erotic. They do not seal the deal there. So, but that's sort of what's layered on top of it, right? Two people highly attracted to each other, suspicious of each other, not wanting to complete this thing, and yet this attraction is there, this pull is there. So
That's good.
it's still part of what's going on, what they do here, because they want to do this thing but can't, or
Mhm.
so in my mind, okay, I get to add this bit, but it still reveals things. It's still part of the plot. It's still part of the
Mhm.
conflict and tension that's going on between them. When I
Smut.
think about my other books, it's sort of like, well, I know I have to have 2 or 3 love scenes in these, in 78 to 80,000 words. So there is I need to have 2 or 3 in my mind. But how do I put them in where they make sense and where it's not just, gratuitous?
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
challenge sometimes.
I personally don't like reading spicy scenes where I feel like someone is trying to just check the box. They're trying to make sure that they have the spice element. And I've sort of assisting with the editors and making sure things hit the requirements and the guidelines. I have read quite a number of spicy scenes that have felt to me like they're perfunctory, like they're there because we've required that they be there. And like they're still good, they're well written, like they hit the guidelines, but like I understand what Rachel and Parrish as the editors are saying when they say like this needs more spice or this feels like it needs to be incorporated better. I've actually changed the way I write for the anthologies. That's why I had that word count thing, is because I feel like if I do aim for a higher word count, I have to do more with the scene than do what I did in Crimson Wake, which was very like I know I need to check this box, right? And I know I need to do this. And it was very difficult, right? Like, but when I actually incorporate it in and I make it a part of the plot and I make it part of the character development, it's much easier to write and it hits the requirement naturally, right? Like and I no longer have to add to the spice because I'm hitting the requirement. I'm actually making them feel like this is not a perfunctory scene. So I have changed the way that I've approached it.
The
Yeah.
hot take is spice ruins a good plot. And I think maybe if there's a spicy bit that maybe doesn't need to be there, I'm not sure that it would ruin the plot. If you like the characters and were invested in them, and it's sort of like the epilogue, right? Doesn't need to be there, but sometimes it's fun to read. And so I'm not sure I guess it would depend on the book on whether it ruined the plot. It just doesn't always need to be there, maybe.
It's all about the way the author's using it. Like, let me talk about my favorite sci-fi romance from last year, The Pearl Crucible, where the spice definitely elevated the plot. Like a parachute dying. I thought that the spice elevated the plot. It really added to what was going on with the characters, you know? So, like, it's about how the author's using it. If you're just checking a box to make sure that there's enough spicy scenes, maybe it can ruin the plot. I don't know. I've certainly seen perfunctory spice, but I just skip them. You know, I just skip ahead. It doesn't ruin anything for me. If I feel like it's perfunctory, I just move on to the next part. The rules for novels are different from the rules for short stories as well. You know, like in a short story, if the sex is perfunctory, it's also wasting words that could have been used on plot development, and you're not using it to develop your plot or your characters. I guess it could be kind of annoying. Like, it's like, oh, you're wasting 500 words on something that you're not even into. That's lame. But I've rarely seen that.
Yeah. Yeah. I will admit I was the one that was sort of resistant to having the word count. And the reason is because kind of what we're talking about here. If the spicy bit is something that is in the moment, fast and furious and just like, oh, we can't take it anymore, we're going to do this thing, it's gonna, the pacing is quick, everything about it is quick, and you still can have the other things like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing this, but man, I really want, whereas maybe it's at the end of the story and they're in love and it's going to be a much longer, slower type of scene, right? And both can fulfill the requirements that all of us are saying in terms of a level 3, but also having it fulfill that other bit. But, the lengths could be quite different. And that's sort of why I was a little resistant to saying we need to have 10% or whatever of that.
The 10% rule is a useful rule of thumb for somebody who's struggling to hit the 3 chili pepper mark. If that's happening to you consistently, trying to hit 10% of your word count with spice will help you get over the hump. Help you get the hump.
As they were.
Get a rise out of everybody, huh?
If you are a very practiced 3 or higher chili pepper author like Jenna Harte, the rule does not, you don't need the rule, right? But if you are like me, it's a useful thing to utilize. It's a learner's, they're training wheels in a way to help you hit that mark. It's not something everybody has to adhere to. But,
I want to write a book on all the different ways you can write a spicy bit. Not, not just the different heat levels, but, fast and furious, or maybe you've almost just been killed and now you're celebrating life, or, now you've just admitted you're in love. It's the end of the book. And, because those scenes can be all sorts of different ways. And,
after we had that debate, I went back and I looked at probably one of our hotter ones from Fireworks and Flirtation, which was Lynn's. And she doesn't spend 10% on it, but it's still, she's so practiced at it and so good at it that it just feels hot. Like you're sort of like in the perspective of the main character so much that the word count doesn't matter. So like if you're very good at that, it doesn't matter, right? Like, but Lynn didn't have a problem hitting that spice level. Like it just depends. If you're like me and you're having trouble with it, the 10% count can really help you.
Because you don't want words for word's sake, right?
Well, it's the reason we don't put it in the guidelines. It's just so like, hey, this writer's having trouble with this. They're like Tara, maybe we should give them this rule of thumb to help them. But if you're not like me, if you're like Lynn and this is easy for you, we're not holding you to that. It doesn't matter, right? Like, we're not even noticing as editors. We're almost is this erotica? We're on the other side.
You bring up Pearl, and I'll just roll with that, because the Pearl Crucible, the main character, the spicy bit is part of her psychology and how she's relating to the world that she is in, or how she's relating to the story that's happening around her and the people that she is with. is
Mhm.
is because of who she is and how she adapts the experience that she's having to what to the spicy part, to the story is a big part of the story. It's without
Mhm.
that, her story does not make nearly as much sense. It is performing a constructive purpose. If it's not there, then Dardana Fennec is not who she is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was really great because it felt like it was like your entire society on Iphigenia, which I know that I don't say the same way you do, but it's like the entire society of Iphigenia like wrapped up in a bubble. Like I felt like that scene was Iphigenia, which I thought was really cool. Like,
It
oh, we go
explained the whole thing because you can't just sit down and you say, "Well, this is how my crappy world works." I almost used a worse word than
not
that.
crappy.
This is how my crappy world works. Because that's like telling, it's not showing, but to see her going through this, and then in another case, refusing to explain, in two different cases, refusing to go and narrate her experiences with another person because that's me, that's mine, that's not yours. This one, this is work. This is what
Yeah.
I'm supposed to say this. Like I'm supposed to work, I'm supposed to do these things, I'm supposed to obey. I'm supposed to do this with this person because it's not because I'm being forced, because it's natural for me to do that. But she segregates the other experiences. Well, that's mine. You don't need to know about that.
Yeah, it's almost like the way that she does that she segregates her experience with Barcina away is almost like by telling us about Effin, she's working for us too, right? She's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm working for you. I'm sending this through the Ansible because like I know that you Earthlings also want to like read about this experience, and so I'm gonna work for you as well. But not when I'm with Barcina. That's not for you. Like that, it makes that weirdly explicit, that relationship, almost like she's
Yeah.
a servant for us too. That is like mind blowing. Anyways, go read Pearl Crucible. If you haven't read it
Definitely.
yet, go read it.
Yeah. Pearl Crucible.
All right, people.
Now that we've shared all the hot takes and probably gotten ourselves in trouble,
Yes.
Yeah.
we do have news and things that are going on here at Tender and Tempting Tales that readers might enjoy. First of all, I am going to be attending SAS 2026 in Richmond. And so not only will I be there with my books, and I have a new pen name series coming out that I am desperate to have there. I think I'm going to make it. I think I'm going to make it. But Tender and Tempting Tales will also be there. And so I'm really excited to get all the books and all the doodads to give away with that.
You'll also
And
see one of our editors there, Rachel, which will be there
Rachel
helping
will be
Jenna.
there, who
You can
edited
meet
part.
Jenna Harte. You can meet Rachel Young, one of our editors.
Yep.
There'll be copies of Moonlight and Margaritas. There'll be
Yep.
copies of Fireworks and Flirtation. We have
Yep.
cute
And you
little
can join us
bookmarks.
at the
I made us a
bar.
cute
My
banner.
mother will be there too. And
Yeah. And, if you want to meet a celebrity, Jenna's mom.
Yeah.
That's the one right there.
Yeah,
The one.
Sign up for
everybody
that.
knows
Go
Mama.
have a cocktail with Jenna's mom. Everyone loves Jenna's mom.
Yep. Yep.
And we've got a cute little banner there. Like we'll have our little like QR codes that are shaped like hearts that I made
Yep.
that you can use to go like look at our anthologies and stuff like that. And we'll also have book cards for Fantastic Foes because it won't be out in time for Jenna to take it with her. But yeah, go see Jenna. It's gonna be exciting.
Yay.
And we've got Fireworks and Flirtation is out right now. It came out May 18th. Please go get yourself a copy. We put a larger copy up, so we've changed out layout. So if you got a copy earlier and it's really chunky, that was the 5x8. There's now a 6x9 up. We hope that people like it. I thought it looked really pretty.
Buy
Foes
another
is
one.
Yes, go get another one. Foes is releasing July 13th. Fantastical Foes, that's our Romantasy zine, our July issue. Enemies to Lovers, very, very exciting. And the cover reveal is running right now as we are recording. Sapphics Call, that's Sapphics of Saturn. That's the zine that I am editing. That is opening up in August. If you want to write a sci-fi Sapphic story, please do submit. I'm very excited about that. And then we have our release for Starlit and Spellbound, our next anthology, our anthology in September. That's going to be really cool. We are currently editing that right now, and we're waiting on a few people with extensions. It's going to be pretty darn good. It's witchy. It's paranormal. We have something from Avery Clark that's very exciting. We're going to have something from Jenna and their sort of a bewitched rom-com story. We've got something from Paris, which I think is very good. Lady Chatterjee's Lover. Yeah, it's a good lineup. We've got our Substack articles and author takeovers going on right now. There's like Substack posts going up about each of the authors that's doing a takeover. Jenna's ran yesterday. Mine was earlier this week. We had one for Parrish. We'll be having one for Susie next week, and then Marissa later on that week. So everyone's got really cool goodies and giveaways. Please do keep an eye on those. Click on those if it says meet blank author, like click on that. There's going to be goodies and giveaways for you there if you join people's newsletters and stuff. Jenna's takeover is not her takeover. Her giveaway is still going right now, but I think by the time this goes up, it might be over. But she is giving out a $25 gift card. So yeah, there's good reasons to keep an eye on those and join the giveaways, people. Like don't let money and free books get away from you. And then for the podcast, we just had Ali Lasky. Mara Heath is coming next week. We're going to do a Foes cast for everybody in Fantastical Foes. It's going to be really exciting. And if you are a listening author right now, you have a cool new release coming up. You've got events coming up that you're going to. You've got a really cool work in progress you want to talk about. Please send us a message if you want to come on the podcast and talk to us, and we'll see if we can get you scheduled. Okay? Yeah.
We got a lot of things going on. It feels a little bit like plate spinning.
It's endless plate spinning. Yes. I worked 12 hours yesterday on Tender and Tempting Tales stuff.
Oh my golly.
Looking forward to taking some time off after Foes is done. Okay. All right. So instead of book recommendations, I would like you guys to tell our listeners what's new with you as authors and what you're working on.
Okay. Well, I got lots of things going on simultaneously because that's how I roll. I am editing a book in real time on my Substack, which is about the third time that I've written it. So I'll be pretty darn good by now.
That's right.
And when I get that done with rewriting it, then I have to actually edit it for real to clean up all the garbage. Then I can publish it sometime early next year. Fantastic. That's Fallen from Stars, which is a science fiction story set in around my world, which I will not pronounce, but she comes from a different star altogether and happily and innocently comes here as an ambassador. And boy, does that place suck. I'm also writing two more stories simultaneously written in that world. One is possibly a novella, although sure is getting long.
I was going to say, you're on chapter 20 now.
Yeah, I'm getting there. The Case of the Engagement Party, which is a murder mystery, or as they would say on Iphigenia, they would call it a property destruction mystery. And then also working on a very interesting story about a very large blue man who is an escaped slave himself, and he's about 7 feet tall. And he has encountered a 40-something-year-old, very bored, wealthy woman who is widowed and has no kids, and who just does not know how to fit him into her life, although she has found at least one way to do so. And I'll let you figure out what that way is. And so those are the big three things I'm working on
he fits
right
just
now.
Fine.
If he's careful, he fits fine.
If I knew you were going to be with us on the podcast, I would have worn my shirt, my Rados shirt.
Well, that's okay.
Our big blue Rados.
It's clean. I've got him. He's folded right over there.
It's clean. The story is not.
Go read Lion in the Garden, people. You need some blue man in your life.
You certainly do.
Oh my golly.
Jenna.
Well, the 7th book in the Valentine mystery series, Dead But Not Forgotten, is now up in print. It's been up in ebook for a little while, and that is a second edition. The first edition was done in Susan Stoker's world. I got my rights back, and so made the little changes I had to make, but the story is the same. And of course, I do have an 8th book planned for that, but for 2 years,
man is still
I've been
dead in that
trying to
rowboat.
write this book. It is Dead Guy in the Rowboat, and we'll see. I do have a new prequel, reader magnet, Back to Us, set in the Southern Heat world, tells this story of Lexi and Mitch's parents getting together. That one turned out really cute because I had never planned to write that, but was really happy with how that turned out. It is free, jennaharte.com. Go sign up. You'll get it. And then, of course, I've been working on a new series under a new pen name set in New Orleans, Shadow of Betrayal, which currently is getting formatted and the cover is getting finalized. And so my hope is to have it at SAS to sell. I'm really excited about it. I still have a hard time describing what it is, except for Southern Gothic paranormal romance fantasy.
I think I would call it a paranormal mafia romance. having
Well,
read.
except there's
Yeah,
not mafia. It's not mafia. It's a secret society of families who protect the veil, the barrier between life and death. Each of these four families has a warrior who
An enforcer.
that is the one who is the protector of the veil. Each family has a council member, so there's politics going on,
Mob
and
politics.
there is a in this first book, we don't know it yet, but there is a prophecy that was set up in 1830 that will come out through the series. Although I do have a story in what is that called? Devious Delectable Decades. That is the origin story of that, but you do not have to read that. But yeah, there's prophecy. This first one is a murder mystery. There's fated mates, arranged marriages, all the stuff people like. And there is a little bit of spice in it. So, which I've already described to you earlier when we were discussing whether spice ruins a good plot or not. There is some spice in this. Anyways, I'm very excited about this. I hope people love it. So it is right now. You can read it on Substack till the end of June. If you want to go read it there, it's all posted there. Of course,
and you
not
should.
edited.
It's good.
It's raw. It's a raw draft up on Substack. It has been revised since then. But anyway, so that's kind of what I'm up to. What are you doing, Tara?
And Jenna's gonna be at SAS. Remember, go see Jenna at SAS if you're on the East Coast, people.
Yep.
I am currently serializing a novel to Substack myself. I wanted to get in on the action. Mostly, I just needed to have something that was an accountability tool to make myself do that instead of just endlessly do like social media management and layout work for the press. So I've got Vox Protocol, which is sci-fi romance, running on Substack. New chapter is actually up today. We are recording on Friday, the 19th, and my newest chapter 3, is now up. And you can go read it. And I think that it's coming along pretty well. I've never just like sat down to just write like a straightforward kind of shortish romance before, like all my other stuff is like really long and weird and experimental and it's serializing and cool, but like doing a lot of stuff. So this is very much a like I used Jenna's romance organizer to plot it out, and I don't let the chapters get super long and stuff like that. So I hope people like it. Hopefully, I will be able to publish a chapter a week and be like a normal person.
There's hot takes around chapter length.
I'm sure there are. Here's my hot take. There are too many goddamn hot takes. Look, readers, let writers write. Some people have chapter titles. Some people have long chapters. Some people have short chapters.
Yeah.
Some people don't like chapter titles. It's okay.
I will admit, figuring out chapters was probably the hardest thing for me to figure out when I started writing. Yeah. Parrish, thank you for joining us today for our gab fest here about hot takes and news.
My pleasure. Happy to do it.
So, folks, check out our Substack. We are on Substack as Tender and Tempting Tales. You can get great podcast episodes every week about romance as well as articles. We have our takeovers running right now. That's great goodies and giveaways that you can get and learn all about our authors. You can also take a look at our anthology calls on there if you are a romance author yourself, and perhaps join the Tender and Tempting Tales team. We always have new calls coming up. We've got our zine calls as well as our anthology calls. The next one coming up will be Sapphics of Saturn. That'll open in August. We would love to have you submit something. We also have our anthologies that are available on Amazon, as well as our zines. You can follow the zine series on Amazon and get updated every time a new zine comes out. And don't forget to join our email list. We have a freebie story that was written by Jenna Harte. It's about damn time. It is really, really fun. It's a Skullhaven based story. So if you join our email list, you will get that for free in your inbox. And you can also then go read A Matter of Time, which is the follow-up on it that follows Nate, who's the deputy of the main character. And they're both a really good time. And Jenna?
Well, I want to thank everybody again for listening to us ramble on about romance books. And, if you have hot takes of your own that you want to share with us, wherever you're listening to us, there's going to be a comment place. So leave us a comment and we can add it to our list to discuss one day, or maybe we've already discussed it and you're going to share your thoughts on it too. We would love to hear it.
Or news and drama. Tell us news you want us to cover.
News and drama, of course. Maybe even books. If there's books we haven't mentioned, there's so many out there. Authors we haven't met yet. We'd love to hear it all because, we live for romance. At least I do. I don't know about everybody else. But thank you again for listening. And until next time, peace, love, and happily ever after.